It's early in the morning in the off-grid garage. We have 2 alarms running. It is winter. It is cold. Guys, welcome back to the off-grid garage here in sunny but cold Australia. Our off-grid garage micro inverter system delivers 7 watts. Now that's not 700, that is 7 watts. Really? Oh yeah, here it is in full shade. Oh, this will take another 2 hours or so. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look what we get. Oh, we made half a kilowatt hour yesterday. 0.1 amps, 12 watts, 6, 10. Yeah, it's tracking. So around 10 watts in the morning from 2 fully shaded solar panels here. Not too bad. I'll take it. And we've got all the alarms here on the smart shunt. Low state of charge and low voltage. So we are at 10% state of charge, charging with 550 watts. That's not too bad considering we are fully shaded here on the roof. There's no sun coming through at all. A few patches maybe here on the east side. Over there's a bit of sun, but the angle is just, you know, that's sun coming from behind. What do we have? 150 watts from the carport, 150 watts from the east roof, 160 from the west. See, the west roof is always a bit better than the east roof. Exactly the same setup, same panels, same amount of panels, same solar charge controllers. West roof is always a bit better. And the big shed 120 watts because it's the smallest system and it's facing away from the sun at the moment. Monsieur, 560 watts. But of course, this is under the 1000 watts I always set as a goal in shading winter conditions now. So we're getting only half of that at the moment. It is still early in the morning, it's 1 minute past 9. But still, it is a very edgy case. You can see the battery is down to 10%, so I'm using all this energy every night, down to 7, 8, 9% state of charge. And then it recharges just a tiny bit during the day. And hence we are upgrading the system now with the micro inverter on the other side of the pool, what we have set up yesterday. And an interesting scenario we have now, because we have changed the settings in the multi-plus as well now to make it aware that there is another AC connected or a grid tie connected inverter in the system. And if the new behind the pool system generates more energy than we actually use, the multi-plus uses the excess energy and charges our battery shelf here. And this is what we have tested yesterday in yesterday's video already. So proof of concept, it's working. Top. So we need to find a space now where to mount these panels and also make a decision what kind of panels we are going to use. But this will come in a later video. Today we want to have a look at the solar system here on the roof and how it performs in these shading conditions over the day. With the setup yesterday, as I just said, we have changed the settings in the multi-plus now to make it aware that there's another inverter. The Phoenix inverter is still connected to the AC in of the multi-plus, so it still acts as a generator. And we can now have a very interesting scenario. With our little switch we have put in as a modification, this will start the Phoenix inverter. And the Phoenix inverter is still connected to our Frankenstein battery here. And now you can see the Phoenix is starting up. The multi-plus will recognize, oh, there's an AC in signal. There's power coming in from some sort of source. And there it goes. It is now saying there's a main power source, either grid or generator. And we are also charging. So the internal charger has now kicked in. And basically the Phoenix inverter is now delivering all the energy for our loads we have connected, and all excess energy we are not using for our load is going into our battery as a charge. And we can see this here nicely now in the Victron remote console. So we are charging the battery with 1.9 kilowatts now. Where the power is coming from the PV chargers, so from the roof here with all the MPPTs, but also from the generator. And I have limited the generator to 8 amps. So depending on your generator size, you can just tap on this red card here in the top left. and you can see we have got a current limit of 8 amps. I can click on the +1 amp and again to set this to 10 amps, accept now. And now the Phoenix inverter will ramp up and delivers 10 amps now. We are charging the battery with 2.2 kilowatts now. And here we can have a look at the Frankenstein battery. We are pulling 2.2 kilowatts. This goes into our Phoenix inverter. You can use any off-grid inverter. You could even do this with the Xia inverter down here. And then the 230 volt output of the Phoenix inverter feeds into the input of the Multiplus, and this one takes care of everything now. So pretty cool system, right? Okay, I have to turn off the Phoenix again. This will then switches everything back to our battery shelf. I'm desperately trying to recharge the Frankenstein battery here because I want to do more testing with the Global Power BMS. We are not done yet. Alright, so far this morning intro here on a Sunday morning. I'll be going back to the house now, having breakfast, and then I'll show you what's going on here on the roof. That's what you do. You have a look at your batteries and solar first, and then you have breakfast. So this is now the situation on top of the roof at 10 a.m. in the morning. So you can see we are fully shaded on all roofs. The sun is fairly low. It will just come around this tree here then, and then we've got this little gap. So we will get a little bit of a peak situation on these panels then. Just for a few minutes they are peaking, and then it goes down already again, because the sun will then go behind these trees here. And today we are exactly 1 month away from our winter solstice. Then we have the shortest day of the year. And if you are living a bit further north, you may have the longest day of the year. And from there on it goes down for you and it goes up for me again. Oh shit! Probably have to clean these panels here again at some stage. Not that it makes a huge difference, but it's more peace of mind, you know. It's crazy windy. But look at the roof area over there where we want to put the other 4 panels for our micro inverter. Pure sunshine already. It'll be beautiful. So it is now 20 past 10 and we are just reaching the 1000 watts roughly sometimes. Of course not when I'm filming. It looks more like 800. And I've seen 980, 940, 950, depending where the sunspots are on the panels at the moment with the wind and the shading. Yeah, 990. 1000 watts, there it is, 20 past 10. And now you would say, well, the roof pointing to the east gets the sun first. This will be your solar array with the most output in the morning. Wrong. It is actually the roof on the carport, which points to the west, which is tilted away from the sun. This is my most efficient solar array in the morning because of the shading. Look at this. The sun just comes around these trees now and shines on these panels first. These are tilted away to the west, and my east roof here doesn't get any sun in wintertime at all. And even in summertime, when the sun comes through this gap here, it will shine on these panels first. Carport, west roof, and then the east roof. So the east roof is actually one of my least efficient sides because of all the trees. And we can potentially see this here already, yeah. See the carport at the bottom, 300 watts. This is the east roof, 211 only. So twice as much power as on the east roof. Who would have thought? So it is now close to 12 p.m. noon, and this is probably my peak performance I will get from the solar system now. Can see the sun is already past this gap. This is probably maximum performance now. We've got one string there at the front which is not shaded. This one is shaded. And what about the east roof? Yeah, this is still shaded. There will be a bit of sun here, but the angle is just not there. And these ones will get some sun later on when the sun is... No, they probably won't anymore. It's just not the time for sun here. But I want to show you something very interesting. Just need to go down here first. See, I moved them backwards yesterday afternoon because there was already shading here and there was more sun over there, but now it's the other way around. So with these situations you cannot win. I'll probably move them forward again. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's see what we get. 90 watts, 100, 110, 113 watts. We are pushing into the grid, into our micro grid. But yeah, see, the roof would be ideal now. No shading whatsoever. We've got a bit of shading on the tank actually here. Okay, let's move them forward and see how much we get. The red light is still flashing here on the inverter, telling us that there's no power output. 100. There's still a bit of shading there on the corner. Can you believe it? Oh wow, I'm not moving them again. 200 watts at the moment. Hard to see. Just believe me, 220 watts I've seen. So here we can see the actual power output of our solar system on the roof. Big shed, fully shaded still, 190 watts, 200 watts. Carport to the west, 270 watts. This is already gone. The peak is over for the carport today. It is now sitting on the east roof and west roof. West roof is actually having the most of the sun at the moment. And then you will see the sun moving towards the east roof and then further on to the big shed. But all these roofs only getting small peaks. And around 2 kilowatt peak we are seeing now in these conditions. So far I've made 4 kilowatt hours today and have used only 2.8. I was just wondering why we are making only 500 watts here and the SPED calibration center from the solar fence system. And it's not because the dog is just walking in front of the panels and making a shade there. So I just disconnected one string and I still had 500 watts. And then I disconnected the other one and put the other one back in and I still had 500 watts. So I said, what the hell is going on here? And then I thought, well, maybe we are on a 10 amp limit with a BMS, with a Google Power BMS. So let me have a look if this is still the limiter, which is limiting us. Insane. Indeed, there's the limiting charging function. Yeah, I still had the 10 amp limiting function switch activated. I played around with the settings a couple of days ago and I must have forgotten to turn this one off again. So I've charged with 10 amps only during the day. What a bummer. We could have been fully charged already, potentially. Yeah, now we are seeing the full power of the pull fence system. 1100 watts. Nice. 20 amps. So down here we can see the typical curve, what I'm getting here on the garage during sunshine now in wintertime. Well, actually we've got late autumn now, but I'm considering this as winter already. Wintertime in terms of solar production. So down here you can see the 4 curves of our MPPT solar charge controllers of the off-grid garage. East roof, west roof, carport and the big shed. And you can see in the morning we are starting charging at around 20 past 6 with 4-6 watts, and then it gradually goes up and then it spreads apart a bit. And you can see the green curve is what you would consider the east roof, because this is where the sun goes first, but it's actually not. The green curve is our carport. So there must be a bit of a gap here somewhere in between the trees where the sun comes through, and we've got a peak of around 500 watts for the east roof. And then it goes down again, and then it comes the full sun onto the carport, and it peaks at around 780 watts. It's a 3.24 kilowatt peak system, so 700-800 watts maximum. And then this gap of sunshine moves further to the west roof, which is our yellow line. This is the next roof, which gets the full sun. And this one peaks at around 950 watts. Bit of a shade then, and another peak there. And then it goes away, full shading again. And then the next roof comes, which is our east roof. This is the third one, right? You can imagine if someone shines with a torch on the roofs and moves it across, and all the roofs are getting the sunshine one after another only. It's just a small gap in between the trees where the sun is actually coming through. Yeah, and then the east roof peaks at 1000 watts, goes away, and then comes the big shed, and the big shed peaks at around 908 watts. So my main charging actually starts at around 11:30 now, and then it goes all the way across until this peak goes down here at around 1:30. So 2 hours of limited sunshine on these panels then. And this was yesterday at pure sunshine as well, but no wind. The wind does some weird tricks here because it moves the branches back and forward across the panels, and we are not getting these nice curves here. We've got our main peak at around 12 o'clock of 1.64 kilowatt hours only in this 1 hour. And the total production of solar energy was 8.3 kilowatt only for the whole day yesterday. So here are these curves again from yesterday, these 8.3 kilowatt hours all in total we have harvested. And I want to show you a graph from last week when we had 2 days of rain. It was cloudy the whole day long, raining. So this is pure sunshine. And this is how the graph looks like in rain, cloudy conditions. All 4 roofs are following the same pattern here now. They seem to be like synchronized now because the clouds are diffusing the light now so much. All roofs are getting basically the same amount of light all the time. And you can see how the production goes up and down, up and down, up and down again in a synchronized way. All panels do the same at the same time. So again here, sunshine, clouds. But then you would think, well, on a sunny day, you made 8.3 kilowatt hours. How little energy would you actually produce during a cloudy day? So one of these days here, let's have a look in the dashboard. Yeah, this is the same day, and I made actually 17 kilowatt hours. 17 kilowatt hours in pure, cloudy, rainy, miserable weather conditions. So more than twice as much as in pure sunlight. Isn't that insane? So I'm always looking forward to cloudy days in wintertime because I'm making far more solar energy than in pure sunshine. And you can see here at about 9 p.m. I also could heat up my hot water. And even the day before, the hot water system was running from the battery. So we are having a quick look at the solar production for this year. All in total 4.84 megawatt hours of solar energy produced here in the off-grid garage. The generator has produced 426 kilowatt hours. We know the generator is not a generator. This is a second inverter running from the same battery. So all in total 5.2 megawatt hours used and produced here in the off-grid garage. January was very good, 1.8 megawatt hours produced. February 1.3. March 950 kilowatt hours. April 617, and May so far 264 only. Too much sunshine in May. And you can see I am not able to fully charge my battery anymore. The highest I was 56% so far this month, and I doubt I will go any higher. So I'm not breaking any records here. Okay, and last week I have also received my last energy bill for the last 89 days. So I have still used 128 kilowatt hours from the grid, and last year it was still 976. So I have come down quite a bit. Still using 1.44 kilowatt hours a day, while I have used almost 11 kilowatt hours last year the same time. The cost per day in average is negative $4.25. And here's the graph of the last 90 days. And you probably can see this tiny gap here where there is no solar export. Yeah, I know, there's another one. This is when the inverter failed and we weren't at home, so nobody could restart it, and I lost a whole day of solar production. But this one here was actually the day of the installation of the new solar system on the house. And you can see from over here all the way to the right to this gap here. This is the old solar system, how it performed the last 90 days. And then the new solar system started the next day, and you can see how much more power it actually generates in comparison to the old one. The bars are a lot longer. They're almost going to negative 20 kilowatt hours. So I'm exporting actually 20 kilowatt hours a day. While here we have barely made it over 15 kilowatt hours. There are only a few days. It's only 4 or 5 days where we exported more than 15 kilowatt hours a day. While here the new one immediately almost 20. Well, yeah, and then the weather got shit. And I didn't export that much anymore either. Yeah, very cool and interesting stuff here from the windy shading. Ah, there's the sun now. So it shines directly. Let's have a quick look. Here we get east roof 860 watts. This is the maximum we get. See the carport, 120 watts only. Here's the carport system. There are only some sunspots around it, and now the sun is behind this tree here, and will come again in the afternoon at around 3-4 o'clock or something through this gap and shines here on the carport again. So we will get another peak, the afternoon peak I call it. It's around 1000 watts again for half an hour or so. And here we've got the east side roof, so this string is in full sun, this is half sun, and they are shaded anyway. And we got a bit of power from here. Man, I could do this all day long. Someone is having a good time here. And you are already hot, right? So here we can see DC power PV1 150 watts and PV2 is 210 watts. So PV1 is on the right. This is one of the older panels, and it makes only 150 watts in pure sunshine here. That's a bit sad. I wonder why. These are the good BLD panels from the garage, and they were always performing like new, you know. But now 150 watts here, that's a bit sad. Okay, let's clean it and see if it makes a difference. And I know it won't. All right, nice and shiny. So let's see, 146 and 207. It's this way around. So PV1 is on the left. And I'm not sure when this actually updates here. It seems to be random. You can update it, like pulling it down, but it doesn't really update. So it's always waiting for something. You know what? It's actually perfect solar weather. It's an ice cold wind, like 20 degrees or so. Pure sunshine, not a cloud. And we are pumping out the electrons here. Nice. Okay, let's wait for this to update. Here, it is now updated. It's 150 watts and 210 watts. So there was like 5% more on this panel. And this one was like more like 140. It was pretty much the same, 100. I can't remember. I put it here on the screen. So we are now producing 340 watts, 345. So this is as much as the pool pump needs. So the pool pump is actually running from these two panels now. Yeah, we can see only 100 watts of load on the AC circuit. The rest is being compensated for by these two panels already. So the whole concept actually works. Ah, look at this. There's only one branch going back and forward on the panel. The solar charge controller must go nuts. It must be so hard to find its optimal power point now all the time. Crazy. Full sunshine now in this gap. Probably it's still on the east roof. 600 watts, 650, goes up and down. And the carport is at 330, second best one. But this one will get more and more sun right now. We are producing 1.2, 1.3 kilowatts only. So if I could add another 2 kilowatts from the new solar system, that would be amazing. And one of the main questions, of course, is how much solar do we actually need to make this property here 100% electrically off-grid? We already have 14.4 kilowatt peak installed on all the roofs here at the garage. We've got another 5 kilowatt, 4.98 kilowatt peak installed on the house, which is our feed-in system at the moment. And now we are talking about additional 2 kilowatt on the other side of the fence to feed into our system here and help charging the batteries in wintertime. And I want to show you this here quickly in the Home Assistant Energy dashboard. And this is now getting all the data from the Fronius solar system on the house, as well as the Shelly energy monitor in the meter box. So up here is my energy usage, and during the night you can see L1 to L3. Consumption is very low, of course. And here from 7 o'clock in the morning we also have returned some of the energy to the grid already. It was 50 watt hours. So these graphs gives you actually an overview how much power you use per phase, as well as your own solar consumption and the returned, so the exported energy as well. And this is all nicely done with these colorful graphs. So you can actually see here from 9 o'clock I exported 1.6 kilowatt hours, but I also imported 1.9 kilowatt hours. And here on the right hand side we've got this little graph, this animation running all day long. So it shows us we have produced 9.5 kilowatt hours so far. We have exported 8.8 of that, and but I've also imported 5.5 kilowatt hours from the grid. So including vehicle charging and hot water, I have used 6.2 kilowatt hours today, of which 2.1 kilowatt hours was sourced on low carbon energy production. And I'm really trying to not charge the electric vehicle during the night, because this would be almost 100% coal power. And since beginning of May, I'm not able to produce as much power as I need anymore to also charge the electric vehicle and have the hot water system connected here to the battery shelf anymore. So these two loads are running on the grid again, but I'm really trying to make this as green as possible. So heating up the water during the day when we have the most amount of green energy in the grid, and also trying to charge the vehicle during the day for the same reason. Down here, this graph with this line, this is our energy production prediction. So it looks at the weather forecast and then draws this line. It also takes into account that my roof points to the east, and you can see I'm well within the prediction anyway. Mostly I'm producing far more than the prediction actually predicts. So, and down here is probably the most interesting and most important table, because here all the data comes together now. Very easy to understand. We've got our solar system up here in yellow. This is what we have produced in the inverter, 9.55 kilowatt hours today. I have used 1.63 kilowatt hours on L2, 0.34 kilowatt hours on L3, and 3.56 kilowatt hours on L1. I have also returned 8.8 kilowatt hours already into the grid. So all in sum, I have exported more energy than I have used during the day. But again, coming to this initial question, can we make this property here off-grid already? Here it shows us we have exported more energy than we have actually used. These are the kilowatt hours I have taken, L2, L3 and L1, and these are the kilowatt hours I have pushed into the grid already with my solar on the roof. But looking at what I'm still using from the grid, I would say we can actually make it work, but it is sometimes very tight. Let's have a look at yesterday, how the numbers stacked up yesterday. Yesterday again, during the whole day, 24 hours, I made a net negative of 3.8 kilowatt hours. So I've exported more energy than I've actually used. And these 3.8 kilowatt hours could have been charged into my battery of the off-grid system. And this is the whole plan, you know, now it comes together. Once our high feed-in tariff goes away, we can connect the Fronius to our battery here and push these 3.84 kilowatt hours into our battery. I would have actually charged my battery by 3.8 kilowatt hours yesterday already. And the day before that, 6.78 negative. Again, exported more kilowatt hours than I have used during the whole day. I could have recharged my battery with these 6.8 kilowatt hours. The day before that was interesting because I have imported more energy, almost 10 kilowatt hours more than I have produced. This was because I charged the vehicle from around 50% to 90% for a longer trip the next day. But again, these 9.5 kilowatt hours could have come from my battery. Yeah, as we have just seen, the last 2 days I have actually exported, so I have recharged my battery more than I have used it. So the state of charge would have climbed. While the day before that, I would have discharged the battery a bit more. So in looking at all these numbers here, positive, negative, I'm probably pretty confident that we are there yet from a pure energy perspective. But for a real peace of mind to going off-grid, going fully off-grid with the electrical system here, I probably would need to install a bit more solar to be more confident, to have a bit more peace of mind. And hence this idea to install this micro inverter now at the pool system over there and have another 2 kilowatt, 1.5 to 2 kilowatt system in pure sunshine and helping me out during the winter months here, May, June, July, 3 months maybe, just supporting the off-grid system here a bit with another solar installation. And then we also have to consider this is a 4-bedroom house here because my kids have already moved a few years ago. We have all these empty rooms now. There's no person living in there. You could potentially end up with 5 people inside this house here, maybe even 6. And then your energy consumption would rise accordingly. Potentially more hot water usage, more washing, more dishwasher. The pump is running more often, more water consumption. So there would be a bit more of overall consumption, of course, then. From the energy perspective, we are there yet. We are fully off-grid. We are exporting more energy into the grid than we actually take, even now in wintertime, with the electric vehicle and the hot water system and the pool pump and all the other loads we have. As I said, we have just installed 3 heat pumps inside the house, and they are so efficient. This is unbelievable. I have to show you in a future video. And I'm pretty sure we can also make it during bad weather conditions, as I have seen this since November last year when they installed the large solar system here on the garage. Because even in cloudy conditions, I'm making a lot of solar with this system here just because of the pure size of this system, 14.4 kilowatt hours. And even this system there with the new bifacial half-cut panels, far more efficient than the old system. But again, just for peace of mind, I would like to have this additional solar system, which then feeds into our microgrid and charges the battery as well. Okay guys, this was just another deep dive into the energy consumption here of the house and the off-grid garage and where we are at. Now in winter time, the conditions are getting worse and worse. More shading, less sun on the solar panels, but we are still energy negative, which is fantastic. Okay, let's have a quick look what's going on the off-grid garage roof. Now we can see the big shed now is outputting 800 watts now, while all the other roofs are already back in shade. This little torch beam is now actually shining on the big shed here. You can see the sun. There, this is the roof of the big shed. You can see the sun now coming onto this roof, producing 800 watts, all in total 1.4, 1.5 kilowatts still. The battery is limping around at 18.5% today. It was at around 9% this morning, but this battery now gives us enough power to run essential loads like the pool pump and also some loads inside the house during the night. We've made 6.2 kilowatt hours already, free energy. Anyway, okay, it is 20 past 1. It is time for lunch now. And I'll see you again in the afternoon for more shadow charging and a bit of a verdict. What comes next in the off-grid garage? Well, I couldn't resist. So I've now set up 4 of the 250 watt panels here, connected each to one of the DC inputs of the micro inverter. But we can also see that here in this area here is a lot of shading, and so this is not ideal. The tank would be good, or even better the roof, so I probably go for the roof. But I'm a bit concerned to set up at actually 8 of these panels here on this roof there. This is a lot. That's a lot. 75 watts of 4 of these panels in the shadow. That's not good. They are not efficient in under shading conditions. They are kind of okay in pure sunshine, but shading not good. So the new ones are much better for these conditions and much better. So it is now 3:30 in the afternoon, of course, and well, 110 watts, something like this here as well. All in total 560, 580 watts. I can see that's pretty much it for today. The sun will go down behind all these trees over there, so there will be no sunshine, no afternoon peak as I thought it is. But this was maybe 4 weeks ago when the sun was a bit higher still. It comes through this gap then here and generates more power here on the carport, west roof, and even on the big shed there. But no, not anymore. Carport is 104 watts, east roof 140, 150, 117 from the big shed. A bit less than 500 watts. So we're just maintaining the loads and we are basically not charging the battery anymore. That's it, 19% state of charge. That was all for today. But tomorrow, hopefully, with the 4 panels set up behind the pool, we will see a bit more power coming into the battery here to charge it. I shall let you know. Oh, it is B o'clock.
Der einzige warme Platz im ganzen Garten.
It is now 10 to 5 p.m. That's in the afternoon. And we are producing 120 watts with all of the solar panels. All of these ones, all of these ones, all of these ones, and these ones. It's 120 watts. We're still using 350. So we are actually discharging the battery already. We are at 18.5%. That is just not good. That is not good enough. So we have 18 degrees outside, but it feels like, I'll show you actually. Yeah, it feels like 11.8, right? That's how cold the wind is. Okay, I think that's it for solar production today. Let's go inside and have a look how much we got. All right, a quick last look at the Victron VRM. We are still producing 77 watts now, it's almost dark. So you can see here the charge curve of the solar production. We got our peak at pretty much 12 o'clock, 11:45 of 2050 watts. And then afterwards it went down. And we made today 8.4 kilowatt hours, of which we have used already 5.4 kilowatt hours. Barely enough. Barely enough to run the pool pump and the essential loads here in the garage. Definitely not enough to run the house. And again, a quick look at the energy dashboard in Home Assistant shows us we have produced 17 kilowatt hours with our house solar system. We have exported 15.9 and have imported 15.1. And having a look at the numbers, again, we made 0.75 kilowatt hours negative. So that means we have exported more energy than we actually used in the whole property, including vehicle charging, up until now. So today we will end up with more energy imported than we have exported, than we have generated. But this is what the battery is for. This is why I have a battery, compensating for all these variations you have while using and generating energy. So eventually I will include the battery system here as well. I just want to look at the kilowatt hours each day which I have used and produced. The DC solar here on the off-grid garage, including the AC solar on the house, and now as well the new solar system behind the pool. This all needs to come together now in this energy dashboard here, so I can actually see if I am energy positive or negative. Alright guys, so far this video from today, diving in a little bit into my energy usage here in the off-grid garage and the house as well, trying to combine, making sense of both of them, because this will be the overall goal, to connect the house as well and be 100% off-grid here, so producing actually more energy than we would need. I think it is still a long shot away, but the numbers don't look too bad. Okay guys, I hope this was still interesting for you, because I'm using Home Assistant now to deep dive into my energy usage. If you want to know more about this, let me know in the comments down below. I'm happy to do more videos about how to use Home Assistant and certain integrations to capture all the data of your house, of your energy consumption, and put them up in this graph and table here, so you can actually see how much energy you are using all in total. It is a bit of a different thing what we usually do here in the Off-Grid Garage, using this system now and analyzing the energy production and consumption. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your amazing support here on the channel, for your very generous donations. Without these donations, it would be very hard to make these videos, to buy and show you all these batteries and equipment. So thank you very much for keeping this channel alive here and making all these videos possible. Until the next video guys, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then, bye bye.